I walked down the hall of the girls' dormitories, my school bag in hand. A doll lies in... Oh, sweet. It's Hanako's birthday again. Or birthday party. A doll lies inside, carefully placed on top of a small box. I've been carrying the box in there for a while now, so I'm not sure what to do with it. The whole situation, come to think of it, is bizarre. While I've known of Hanako's upcoming birthday party for a while now, I have no idea what exactly the celebration would be until I found a single note left in the abandoned tea room earlier today. So, we didn't get Hanako's, panic attack. That didn't happen. I hold it up and read it again, double-checking the instructions. The plain black handwriting, fairly illegible, despite Lily's blindness, clearly thanks to the considerable effort and care. Sal, we'll be holding a party at my place. Please come at 6 o'clock to room 225 in the girls' dormitory. Sorry for notifying you this way, but I have class representative duties. Lily Satel. Not reassured, I continue walking down the hallway until I reach Lily's dormitories. I hesitate for a second, but eventually give 3 sharp taps on the door. A brief and muffled exchange of words can be heard from the other side. Listening closer, I can pick up Hanako and Lily's voices. As they finish, Lily calls out, "Might that be his Hal?" "Yep, I got the note you left for me." "You can come in, the door is unlocked." Whether I managed to get the right room, I press down on the handle and let myself in. As the door swings open and my greetings to them is stolen from my mouth. God damn it. Lily sits at a low table in the center of the room, in her pajamas. On the other side sits Hanako in a nightgown, being dressed in only my normal school clothes. I feel quite out of place. I steal a quick glance at the lovely sight of the two, my eyes tearing themselves from Lily's long, thin, pale legs, only with a measure of reluctance. Hi, I think I brought everything that was needed. She smiles and nods. I wonder if she's even aware of the pleasant sight she makes. The thin dark blue silk of her pajamas really suit her, accentuating both her eyes and her curves. The look of her last night, the attentive and almost shy demeanor, seems all but replaced by her coy nature. It's nice to see her confidence returned, but though I can't help casting my mind back to how she looked back then. I looked at Hanako, who nervously sits opposite her in her gown. It isn't surprising that she'd wear something so conservative, though it definitely looks cute. Hi Hanako, happy birthday. Thank you. She's unusually skittish, despite the fact that she warmed up to me considerably over the weeks we've come to know each other. It's a pretty unusual situation, I guess. Feel free to take a seat, Sal. I'll just pour you two some tea. Sure thing. Only takes a steaming red teapot from the side of the table and gently pours it, contents into our teacup as I take a seat beside them, turning my bag against the nearby wall. With my senses returned and my hormones somewhat calmer, I realize that this is the first time I've ever been to Lily's room. The first thing I notice is the ambient smell, just slightly different from that in mine, probably faint perfume and nail polish. It could be anything of a girl's, really. I know that there's a plain nature in the room, visually beige walls and smart yet unadorned cabinet. The lack of posters or wall hangings is distinctively utilitarian, something I should have anticipated given her blindness. The only thing that really seems out of the ordinary is several piles of books sitting on the floor, each reaching from roughly knee height to waist height. Some of them have printed titles and others are entirely blank except dots for a braille. The fact there are only one with printed titles or uniformly in English is interesting, though not completely unexpected. She did mention her parents impressing the language upon her and Akira after all. Your room looks nice, Lily. Akira called thanks beside my shoulder, looking back to Hanako, her gaze fixed on her lap and her hands are nervously clutching her gown. It's now that I notice why. With these clothes on, the extent of her scarring is far more visible, reaching down her neck out to the cover right shoulder. Considering this is a party for her, she doesn't really look like she's enjoying the experience now that I'm here. So, how old are you turning? 18? Her look of surprise, not at all helped by her lack of skill at hiding her feelings, showed that she was trying to mentally tune me out. This is really quite awkward. Please, Hanako. Yes. On the plus side, there are 2 more years till you can drink, so who's older, you or Lily? Lily, she has her birthday in February. What about yours? Earlier this year, so it's already passed. Unstated is that it passed while I was stuck in the hospital. That was a particular low point in the experience. Please, Hanako. Conversation with her dries up as quickly as expected. It isn't long before Lily finishes preparing our drinks, setting down the 3 teacups in front of us. I pick mine up, immediately noticing a much stronger aroma that tastes than the tea we've been having. Huh. It tastes different than the tea we have in school. It's a different variety rather than the kind we've been having there. You'd never taste orange Jaipur before? Not that I can remember. I usually drink coffee after all, like when we were in town. This is nice though. As we settle down and sip, Hanako seems to be more relaxed, or at least a bit less tense about my presence. We all finish our cups at about the same time, with Hanako feeling rather badly at hiding her anticipation for the cake that's sitting to the side, begging to be eaten. Alright. Okay, I'm just I'm comparing the two, because the events are still the same, but the things that happen in them are different. Lily had a brown bag that was a Kier's present, which was wine, and now she has cake. In Hanako's part, we brought the cake. Huh. Come to think of it, I'm feeling very eager myself. First things first, though. Lily? Yes, now it's good. Each of us knowing exactly what the other means, I lean sideways and dig around in my bag for the doll I brought Hanako as Lily gets up and retrieves her gift. I wonder what kind of gifts we got her this time. Hiding our gifts in our hands, we present them both on the table at the same time. Happy birthday! Hanako silently sits looking at them for a second on end, out of sheer surprise. My little wooden doll, replete with Victorian-era dress and a little hat, lies next to a light brown and fluffy stuffed bear from Lily. She clutches at her gown as she moves to speak, not taking her eyes off the modest presents. Thank you, Lily, and Hisao. Oh, the hug's still there. Oh, it's still amazing. Her voice begins to crack as Lily reaches forward, wrapping her in a soft embrace. The sight of Hanako holding Lily so tightly is heartwarming, so much that I could wipe the smile off my face even if I wanted to. As Lily gently rests her face on Hanako's head, she speaks so quietly and softly that I can barely hear her. Happy birthday, Hanako. Happy birthday. Hanako gives a small nod, holding out to Lily for a time before breaking off and wiping an eye. I guess that's for Hanako. Simply having anyone to be there and love her would be special. The fact that Lily and I can now share that role for her is something I think I will always be grateful for. Oh my god. So it is different. Hanako gently takes the doll and teddy bear, holding them both at her chest as she warmly smiles. For a long time, all 3 of us simply sit in happy silence. The quiet is not broken until Lily's soft voice beckons. Shall we have cake then? She's still cute. Her proposal is met with the 2 looks of unhidden anticipation. No argument from me. Okay. I see Akira's not here too. Phew, that was good. I contentedly sit back from both Lily and Hanako, looking for just as satisfied with the food as I. It took some effort, but we managed to finish off the cake in one go. I don't think I can fit any more in. I think next time I'll buy a smaller cake. Hanako and I give a chuckle, but I can't help noticing that Come this time next year, we'll have graduated from Yamaku. The fact is somewhat depressing since I finally feel as if my life is starting to get back into some kind of order. Idly looking around Lily's neat and orderly room, her books catch my eye once again. This may be a little impetuous, but my curiosity gets the better of me. Besides, I don't think she'll mind in any case. Hey Lily, do you mind if I take a look at one of your books? You're quite welcome, Asao. Welcome to Asao. That said, if you can overcome the 2 language barriers, I'll be quite impressed. 2? Braille and... oh right, English. She gives a nod. I knew you were studying English, but I'm still amazed you're that proficient at it. One could say it's perfectly a way to avoid people borrowing my collection. She says that in jest, but I am a little disappointed. Having all these books around me with no way of reading them feels like one big tease. Hanako giggles as I reach over the closet pile, plucking the topmost book with only a cursory glance on the now. In the large letters of the cover is the only printed text to be seen. I sit down for a while with the books open in my lap as Ole and Hanako talk. Try as I might to feel out the dots on braille printed on each page. They seem to blend into one another and become indistinct. I thought it'd be a lot easier than it actually is. With some practice though, I could see someone with a better sense of touch than mine, managing to read at a pretty fast pace. Noticing a silence that had probably begun earlier, I look up at the dotted pages to see Lily smiling at Hanako, as Hanako sips another cup of tea. Is something wrong? Quite the opposite. Your curiosity is quite endearing. I'm inordinately pleased by the praise, though I can feel my cheeks heating up a little. Thanks, but I don't know how else they could act. To be honest, I wasn't altogether sure how you saw us, since you were a new transfer student from another school. If you pitied us, I would have been quite offended. There's a certain edge to Lily's voice, one that I'd quite possibly place as pride glancing over to Hanako. She seems even more subdued than usual, looking towards Lily rather than me. I wouldn't worry about that, considering the position I've found myself in. I'm perhaps the last person that should be dispensing pity on others. My parents' first interactions with me after my heart attack. I wouldn't want to see that kind of face. I catch myself from going any further, but not soon enough. Both the girls seem to be put off, Lily especially. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have gone that far. An awkward silence reigns for a few beats. Thankfully ended as Lily head perk up in a gesture I've come to easily recognize. Hear something? The door. Okay, here's Akira. Everyone looks to turn towards it. Trusting in Lily's senses, true enough, the door handle shudders and turns, a flash of yellow and black slipping through. Akira Satao is in the house. Happy birthday, Hanako. Thank you. Akira takes a seat at the table as she plops on her tall bag beside her. She has her trademark boisterous air about her, making no small deal of her entrance. Hanako clutches down to steady herself, but doesn't appear too shaken after she settles down. I guess she must have met Akira before. Not a huge surprise given how close Akira and Noli are. Akira doesn't seem to be the least bit put off by Hanako's scarrings, despite his prominence, but she also doesn't pull any punches in how she acts despite Hanako's shy nature. Thought you said you had work. Akira, didn't you manage to get off for a while? Kinda. I feel bad about ditching you guys doing overtime, so I gotta get back soon. But I felt bad about not coming to your cute little Hanako's birthday too. So 2, so 4 now. I'm here. Why am I having trouble? She grins wildly at Hanako, who flows into full blush as she pins her eyes downwards towards her lap. Her mouth seems to widen and retract over and over as if she was trying to suppress a smile out of embarrassment. It's a little strange how her reaction seems more immediate and forceful than when she's embarrassed by the way she looks. All she managed to give in return is a tiny nod, failing to hide her appreciation to any great extent. Not many people give her positive attention, I suppose. It makes me respect how well Akira can handle her, making her so happy compared to what little I could do. Now then, before I go. Alright, she brings the drinks herself. She reaches into a bag beside her and grandly displays its contents. Yep, she brings the wine. Other the 2 large glass bottles, both with long French names on the labels. Hanako's expression is an odd mix of surprise and curiosity, and I suspect mine knows different. Lily not seeing the proceedings is obviously what's going on. Akira, this isn't... What is it? Wine, 1 red, 1 white. Akira, that's... Relax. It's not like Shizune's here to scold you. Lily has a point. That's not exactly allowed on campus. Or anywhere, really. We're still short of the legal drinking age, remember? Well, not in some places, where 18 is the drinking age. Which word for someone practically drooling as they examine a bottle. She got me there. I am generally interested in trying some, even just a little, while Hanako may not be handling one herself. Her look does tell me that she's far from opposed to the notion as well. Lily rubbed her forehead, giving up the fight that she knows Akira would win due to simply not caring enough about the funny rules and regulations. Just don't breathe a word of this to anyone in school, please. I beg of you. I'm not stupid, don't worry. That said, I gotta go get back to work pretty soon. So soon? But you only just arrived. Sorry, Lily. Good to see you 2 again, though, and you as hell. See you later, then. Goodbye, Akira. She levers herself up with a grunt and waltzes out of the room, leaving us alone with 2 items on the table. Interesting. Lily gives a nervous giggle at her sister's antics as Hanako takes a wine bottle. So, what do you think, Lily? She rests her elbow on the table and pinches the bridge of her nose, thinking things through. She really does seem to be able to keep up with her sister. Well, it's already here. We might as well have some. No sooner does she say it that I take a quick glance around the room for glasses. A small groan above me reminds me that Lily's retired to rest on her bed for a bit a few minutes ago. Almost completely drained of energy, I managed to stand up and drag myself to the side of the bed, sitting down leaning my back against it. Good God. Oh God. Lily's groans sound lifeless. Too much to drink. My head hurts. Yeah, too much to drink. I rest my head back and idly stare at the ceiling. What an unmitigated disaster. Like proper idiots, we all drank the night away with 1 glass after another. Hanako simply fell to the side to sleep, and it's a miracle I don't feel as ill as Lily. Remember? Well, hey, Sal. I'm sorry about today. I didn't think this would happen. It's fine, Lily. To tell you the truth, I had a lot of fun today. Alright, so... Okay, I'm just comparing the 2 again. When Akira's here, they watch themselves, but now they just get pissed drunk. Really? I think Hanako did too. No, she certainly did. There's a short silence before another groan responds from the supine Lily. You okay? As you said, I just drank too much. What's the time? The time? I quickly look at my wristwatch. Its numerals barely legally legible in the gloom. About midnight. Curfew is in effect then. Yeah, guess as much. I'll have to sleep here for tonight. Whoa. As soon as I say it, I hear the sheets moving as Lily starts to sit up. Hanako. No, go back to sleep. Don't try to get up. That's how I have to. You're in worse shape than me, by any stretch. Get some rest. But what about... I'll grab some spare blankets and put them over, don't worry. As I give a deep yawn and stand to retrieve them, I hear her lie back down with a soft thud. Thank you, Sal. No problem. It's the least I can do. You look outright wasted. It's not wasted, just a little bit tired. She starts pouting, a slight slur beginning to distort her words as the alcohol takes hold of her again. I grab a couple of blankets rolled up at the end of their bed. Quietly walking over to Nanako, I carefully lay the blankets over her peacefully sleeping figure, making sure not to wake her up. The thick smell of alcohol coming off her breath makes me doubt she'd wake up no matter what I did. I stand and take one last measure in the room. 2 girls, both very drunk, and one guy sleeping overnight with them in the female student's dorm. What a scandal that'd be if it broke out. As I move to sit back down at the side of the bed, I steal one last glance at Lily. Her sprawling, disheveled figure lies resting peacefully, slightly turned to the side. I crouch down to get a better look. Damn. Her white skin blends in with the white pillows and the bed. A look of slumber-born peacefulness on her face. Wow. She doesn't really look drunk at all. That's actually really cute. That is really cute. Usually she seems so confident and forward, always there and caring for Naoko. Now though, she seems painfully delicate. I think back to Hanako's presence. I thought it'd be a nice occasion for her, but I'd hardly expect it to be so moving. One birthday after another, year after year. Just she and Lily, all alone. I guess it wasn't just the present she liked. Resigning myself to an uncomfortable sleep, I sit down at the side of the bed once again and rest my tired arms beside me. Hey, Sal. Lily's voice is so quiet I can barely hear it. She must be on the verge of sleep. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you. For what? For being here. She is really cute. Crap. That's... okay. Oh my god. As I hear a deep breath, it's obvious Lily's gone to sleep. After closing my eyes, it doesn't take long for slumber to take me as well. Did they forget to lock the door? Sal? Sal, are you? The soft, barely audible voice lingering in my ears slowly wake me. I wish I could be woken like this more often. With a mumble, I slowly open my... Whoa. Ah! Taking my surprise at the face hovering curiously, mere millimeters from mine, I make her head collide with a harsh thud. The impact over her forehead caused both of us to fall backwards and yelp in pain. Lily sounds more like a squeak toy than a person. Ow, ow, ow. I slowly rub my forehead with one hand supporting myself with the other. Lily lies a few feet ahead doing just the same, her face obviously pained. Sorry, your face was kinda close and I acted on reflex. You okay? My head. It seems she's not actually okay. Come to think of it, I doubt the impact alone is what's causing her head so much pain. Hangover, you drank a fair bit last night. She silently nodded in confirmation as I lever myself up. I offer her a hand to help her back on her feet, glancing behind her. I find that Hanako still fast asleep. It's not fair. I only drank as much as you did. That's very different from what I remember. And anyway, girls have a lower tolerance than men. That doesn't help. Fine. I'll go get you a glass of water. Yes! Water! Just be careful not to trip over a knock. You're supposed to drink water. Water. I rubbed the sleep out of my eyes, or at least some of it, as I walked to the counter. Tending to someone with a hangover isn't the way I like to spend a morning. I think I was overly excited for that. It only takes a few seconds for the glass to fill, the clear water reflecting the silver of light that makes it through the thin curtains. She has a sink in her room? Like a faucet? Whoa. It's like... what? It looks like Lily's taking a seat on the side of the bed. I walk over to her while taking care to step over the peacefully sleeping Hanako and place a glass into her outstretched hands. Thank you. No problem. I take a seat next to her, the soft bed having a surprise amount of give. She drinks slowly and methodically. A long silence passes with Hanako's soft breathing to be heard. With some measure of guilt, I look at Lily's face and attempt to read her expression. Her brows furrowed, and she looks to be lost in thought. For a moment I hesitate, but eventually place a hand on her shoulder in an attempt to reassure her. I didn't expect her to flinch rather noticeably at that, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Lily quickly shakes her head in a manner somewhat more violent than usual for her. She takes a long breath to steady herself before letting her head sink in. I must look terrible right now. I moved to protest, but quickly realized that it would be futile to do so. That's it, I want to open up. I want her to open up more. If you want to talk about anything, I'm here. Lily gives a self-deprecating snort, as if to mock her own emotions. There's just a lot happening right now. I'm sorry for being so strangely recently, especially back when we were in town. Even now I'm a bit confused about everything. Believe me, I know how that feels. She smiled wistfully, resting a cheek on the back of her fingers. We're a couple of broken young fools, aren't we? Come on, don't say that. Come graduation, we'll be back out into the real world. The real world. Sometimes I surprise myself with the way I think about things. I guess the strange divorced feeling of Yumaku and the surrounding town compared to the outside world still hasn't become natural. Maybe it never will. It's strange in hindsight, being isolated from society like this doesn't feel as bad as it probably should. A wry grin on her face, Lily seems to share the same sense of amusement at this idea. Eventually her smile drops. I'll be going to Scotland for a week or two soon. Is that why you had to reschedule Anako's birthday party? She gives an affirmative nod. You'll be able to see your family again, at least. You're not looking forward to it? I haven't met my family in 6 years. I don't even know how to act around them anymore. Wait, what? My mouth hangs as I try to process what she said. If she's 18, then that means she'd have been only 12 when they left. I may have seen very little of my parents, with them both working long hours, but that's... I feel utterly useless as I try to struggle to find some way to respond. But why? Why didn't they leave, or why are they inviting Akira and I back? Both, I suppose. My father's business has its headquarters in Scotland. An executive position became available for him there. In the end, he had to move permanently. My mother followed him, but Akira and I stayed in Japan for the sake of both Akira's job within the Japanese branch of my father's company and my education. As for my latter, one of my aunts is gravely sick. I'm sorry. Don't be. It feels strange, really. We're being summoned there for her, yet we barely met before. I can't even remember the sound of her voice. Equally strange is the total lack of antipathy she feels towards her family for doing such a thing. I can't help feeling slightly humbled. That said, her wistful exterior is just hiding her emotions. Seeing her like this is depressing. Knowing what to do, I lift myself off the bed. Lily notices the bed movements, her head perking up and her hand reaching sideways to feel where I was. Hisao? I walk over to my bag, still leaning against the wall. Here it is, unbuckling the front flap and retrieving the opaque bag from within. I take a small plain box in my hand. Here it is. Hold your hands out, Lily. She looks surprised for a moment, but eventually, acquiesces. What? There it is. The thing that we bought with the doll. I'm amused by her look of curiosity when I place the music box into her open palms. Her typical delicate way of handling it making it seem as if it were fragile enough to break if breathed on. She wordlessly brings it in front of her face, her slender fingers feeling out its contours and patterns. Eventually her fingers find the recessed line between the lid and body of the box, and her thumb effortlessly pops open the lid. I take a seat on the bed next to her, watching her face lightly and intently. She sits completely motionless as she listens to the diminutive, tiny melody, her mouth just slightly open. Oh, that's it? It takes a long while before she closes the lid with a small snap, bringing the curtain down from the miniature performance playing in her hands. A smile on her face gently and wistfully shows that I made the right decision. Think of it as a going-away present for your trip to Scotland. I will. A restful shuffling can be heard from the floor in front of us, the sound having woken Hanako. She climbs out of the blankets I put her over, looking befuddled and wiping the sleep from her eyes. I see you're finally up. What? Hanako looks around the room with her eyes half open, her mind far from being as awake as her body. Her day state makes me and Lily chuckle. As Lily gets off the bed and tends to Hanako, I attempt one last look around the room. I guess I'd better get going then. There'll be questions if I'm seen leaving the girls' dormitories in the morning. Goodbye, Sal. Oh, goodbye. I stand and walk to the door, picking up my somewhat lighter bag along the door. After I leave the room and enter the hallway, though, I hear Lily's footsteps behind me. What's wrong? Without a word, she strides up to me. I freeze as I feel her hand slide onto my cheek, seemingly every nerve taking the feeling of her fingers and palm upon it. Immediately after, her face slowly moves next to mine, a light momentary touch of her lips brushing against my other cheek. For a moment, everything seems to stand still. I absentmindedly bring my fingers to my cheek, as if to try and recapture the fleeting feeling. Lily. That's my thank you, Isao. Thank you. For your present. Have a nice day in school. And with that, she disappears behind her door and gently closes it. The muffled voices of she and Hanako audibly through it much as they were yesterday night. I think I'd be hard-pressed not to have a nice day after that. Oh. I walk away with a certain spring to my step. Dude, you just got a kiss from Lily. I think everyone would be happy after that. I think there was some people around that glanced at me emerging the girls' dormitories building, but I find it difficult to care. do 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 do.